back to my channel. Welcome to a brand new video. For those who don't know me, my name is Amelia. I upload book videos, lifestyle videos, weekly vlogs, and I am now bringing theatre reviews into the mix because I love theatre, if you didn't know. And to be fair, it's something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and I decided I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it. So the most things you're going to see on this channel now are mainly theatre reviews, weekly vlogs and book videos. I don't know where I get the lifestyle part, because they're the three things I do. I like to weekly vlog what I do sometimes, not that I do much. I like to talk about my books, like reviews, and do book vlogs, because book vlogs really help me read books. I mean, I obviously love to read books, I'm not doing it just because of videos, but it makes me more motivated to get through the books that are on my TBR cart. And then I just love talking about theatre, and the more people I can talk about theatre to, the better. So currently there is 200 of you that I can talk to about theatre, and I'm sure there's many more. So yeah, before we get into this video, please give it a thumbs up, please comment down below, please subscribe, please follow my social medias that are linked down below in the description, and might pop up here somewhere if I remember to pop it in. And without further ado, let's just get on with the video. Okay, so for my first theatre review on this channel, I feel so excited to talk about it, because it's one of my favourite, well, I say one of my favourite musicals. It is one of my favourite ones, but it hasn't like blown me away like some of the other ones I've seen, and I will get to that, but it is one of my favourite musicals I've seen this year, and it definitely beat my expectations. So should I just like reveal it now, even though you've seen the title? It is Grease the musical. Okay, I have to talk about this because I am not a massive fan of the film. Please don't come for me. I love Olivia Newton-John, and RIP to her. I do feel sad, and that was the only reason I booked tickets to go, actually, because the week I was getting over COVID was when I found out Olivia Newton-John passed away, and I was like, you know what? I'm already going to be in London on Saturday evening to watch Heathers. I might as well just get a travel card and go watch Grease. So I did. I bought a ticket for Grease for like £25, and it was in the Circle, and it was moving, and they did a dedication to her, and it was lovely, and I just honestly couldn't. Oh, it was adorable, that moment. I'm not talking about the whole show, I'll get to that. So that was the reason I went, and it was meant to be only a one-time trip, and then that was it. I was gonna not see it again. I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. And then I took myself again a few weeks later, and then I took myself again a week later, and then I took myself about like literally 4 days ago prior to filming this. Maybe 5 days ago, but when I say I actually really enjoyed it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, so yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this musical. And can I just say, before I get into like talking about the show, the Dominion Theatre is a beautiful theatre. It's lovely. I've never been there before. This was the first time I went to there. I feel like I could have gone when I was 10. I don't know where Sound of Music was when I was 10 years old. I don't think it was that one though. I don't think it was that theatre. But the Dominion Theatre is a lovely theatre. It's literally as soon as you get off Tottenham Court Road Underground, it's there, and it's a lovely theatre. Toilets not great, but I don't really go to the theatre for the toilets, so it's okay. And the way the theatre is made, the seats, it's so easy to enjoy the show with view, because wherever you're sitting you get a good view. I feel. I've sat in the Circle once, and I was like on the left hand side, like in the corner. I had a really good view. That was far back, and that was a good view. Then I got a ticket for the stalls, like back of the stalls, and that was also a good view. And then I did Today Tix Rush tickets on the Saturday. I was already in London, and got like row S, which is in the middle, and that was a great view, and I thought it was going to be the best view I got. And then on Tuesday I got tickets for row D, which is like 4 rows from the front, and I was on the right hand side, and that view was spectacular. But all of them were amazing. Like, I didn't have any blockages, no one. There was one time I had a tall guy in front of me, and it still didn't block my view, and in a lot of theatres you get a tall guy in front of you and it would block your view, and it's not great. Sometimes it can ruin the experience. Didn't have that. All my tickets, by the way, I feel like I should do a video on how I get cheap tickets. I might do it for my TikTok, but all my tickets for Greece have been cheap, and I've had some really good seats that are usually like 50 quid. The one I got on Tuesday was usually around 50-60 quid. I got it for 25. So this is me just saying, that you can get cheap tickets if you look right. Well, but anyway, that's off the topic. But that was, the theatre's also amazing. They have a merch, like an actual merch store, I guess you want to call it, on the side. Great. I've got the Pink Lady sunglasses. I absolutely love them. I've worn them once out, but I love them. They're cool, and I always wanted something that was a Pink Lady on. I was gonna get a Pink Lady's jacket, but I'm like, can I really justify spending money on a jacket I'll never wear out? Probably not. So I'm not getting it. But they have some cool merch, and if you ever go and you want something merch style, have a look in there. They've got some cute stuff. But I obviously bought a program. You see, I go to every musical I go to, I buy a program. There's no doubt about it. I won't buy, if I go to it like 4 times, I won't buy one each time. But I do buy a program at least the first time I go see it. And if it's a new cast, then I'll buy it then as well. Because I just love, it's something like a memory. It's something I like to look back on. And, you know, I've got one from when I was 10 years old, the first one I went to see, and I look back on it and go, oh wow, that was the first musical I saw. So yeah, it's just a nice little memento. But this, the price for this programme was £8. I expected it to be like £10, and I went in there broke. I had like no money. So I was really happy when I found out that this programme was £8. Because it gave me extra money. But I love it. The pictures are amazing. This is the second time I've looked at it, but I love it. Like this picture, it's an amazing show, and I'm now going to get to my review because I wasn't going to jinx it. I have got this to refer to like people's names just in case I forget them. I do know most of them, but sometimes I forget. I have a bad memory. I am using my phone as my. I've got like a list of what I want to talk about, and I had to get it like put on my phone so I actually remember, because otherwise I'll forget. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, around 7 sections for this review, so we're gonna get comfy, get a drink, and enjoy. So first of all, we're gonna talk about my creative highlights, and I'll be honest with you, with this show there is quite a few, and I think it mainly goes with the way that the cast work to move things on and off stage, and it's just, they use similar things, the same things, but make it look different. My favourite, I think my favourite creative highlight, if we can include like set stuff and like all this, is probably the his room is Marty's bedroom, and how it changes into like when they do Freddie My Love. Bearing in mind, I hated that song. I used to hate that song when it was in Grease Live. I absolutely love that song now. But that little scene was, it's the way they do it, and they have the dances around it, was amazing. The creative highlights for Grease Lightning, including the dancing, was fantastic. I think it had some vibrancy. The way they did it, that like set for Grease Lightning with the car, and there wasn't much to it. It literally just looked like a gringed out like garage outskirts place with the boys and the girls, and it was just fantastic. They made something that's a massive part of the show look simple, but with the dance they had done, it was nowhere near simple. And my reason I say it's a creative highlight, the choreography for this whole show was fantastic. I can't fault it because I can't dance. But that's not the point. I haven't seen many shows that have that much choreography, like that great choreography that you're just like, wow, I wish I could dance like that. Like, I am an amateur theatre group and learning dances, and I love the dance in it. Struggle, but I don't see anything. I wish I could dance like that. This made me wish I could dance. They were fantastic. The Grease Lightning dance, and I liked that they didn't keep the, you know, the normal choreography of Go Grease Lightning, which is like Go Grease Lightning, like, yes, that's classic, and everyone knows that choreography, like everyone does. But what I like is they didn't do that. They had their own choreography for it, and it stood out. This is moving on to another section, so I don't know why I'm saying it, but it was great. Another creative highlight I would have to say is the drive-in scene. The way they have like they have like a, what's the word called? Like a screen come down, is the best way I can describe it. And they have a movie playing, and you have Sandy and Danny sitting in the car, watching it. And the way they do, I just think it's a very creative thing, because they make something, a lot of the set is done so simply, but it looks so good in the audience, and I think it was just amazing the way they did that. some of the things I do think could have picked up a little bit more, but at the same point, they topped it with the choreography and how many people they had around. I think if they had less people, it would have some of the set designs and the way creativity of it on stage wouldn't look as great. My favourite, I will say, another one of my favourites is the school scene right at the beginning. Once they've done the song Grease, not Grease Lightning. What's the song called at the beginning of the show? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to go for this. It has it in it. Grease is the word. I don't know why I didn't know what that song was called, but Grease is the word. They do that, and then they have the whole scene with the cafeteria and the way they do that, and behind the cafeteria bits, so they've got people hanging around, and it's just the way the use of the ensemble in this show, and I mean a lot of shows I've seen have done it, but the use of the ensemble in this show is incredible because you don't lose the ensemble. The ensemble are just filling the show. So you've got the main people, they're doing their speeches, but whilst they're doing their speeches, these ensemble people are walking around doing their own thing, and it kind of looks like you're in a school and you're walking around in the cafeteria. Like, it reminds me when I was at school in the cafeteria, and you'd have these popular cliques, and they'll be sitting there doing their own thing, and you'd have people walking around trying to do things, and it is, the way they've done it is great, and I loved it. My next one is fave and least fave characters. I don't think I had really a least fave character. I think because I just think the way they did this was so better than the movie. But my fave characters will be Rizzo by far. Rizzo and Kaneki, I think they're two of my favourites, partly because the actors were so phenomenal. Like, they just have something, and they those characters were for them. But also the guy who plays Danny stands out because definitely you can see he puts it all in. The way he plays Danny is something I think, and this is why I say this musical is what makes me like the musical again, because I'm not a massive fan of the movie, because the way they play the characters, they make it more likeable. But like, also, you kind of not hate the person, but you're like going alongside it, like, oh Danny, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? But you're wanting him to fix some stuff, and you're kind of relating to him. Well, I'm not, but you know, I'm sure young boys could relate to that Danny, because it's what a lot of kids would do. When I was at school, it would be too cool to be seen with a girl, or to have a girlfriend. Like, you just want to kind of have fun. And I think he plays it off that so well. But then he also doesn't hate himself, but you know, he feels guilty about it, but he's trying to show off in front of his friends, and you can see it. He really does play it that well, that he's like wishing he could make things better, especially in the second half. But then he messes, and these characters, each of these actors have made you fall in love with the characters, even though they're acting like idiots, and you're like, why are you doing that? Sandy, I love Olivia Moore. I didn't see Heather's when she was in it, but I had seen like Carrie Hope Director's vlogs, and I fell in love with Olivia when she was like slightly in the vlogs, and I just always wanted to see her in a show, and I'm finally glad I got to see her as Sandy, and she was amazing. But Sandy is another character, I think, even though she's not in it that much, and this is one critique I have to say, is I think when the show is meant to be about that love affair, that love story, that even if I understand what they were trying to do, and I like I said, I loved it, but I feel like Sandy should be in a little bit more, because they definitely took her out. Like, in the film, she's a lot more with the pink ladies than she is in the show, but I like that, because the fact is, in the film, Rizzo makes fun of her, but she still tends to hang out with those girls, and I'm like, this girl stands her ground. Like, she don't want to hang out with them because, well, Rizzo was making fun of her. Like, even before Rizzo, because she doesn't hang out with them, because they're pressuring her to do things she didn't want to do, like get her ears pierced, drink, smoke. She didn't want to do that. So after that, she didn't really hang out with them in the show, and I like that, because the fact is that she's sticking her ground, and she's sticking for who she is, which I like. I think I did like that. And also, and I have one thing, the ending, when Sandy changes for Danny, I never liked in the film. I was like, why are you changing for a guy? In this show, even though she does change, she doesn't really change for the guy. She changes because she loves him, but she doesn't change really who she is. She's just done herself up, and she's acting a bit more tough and a bit more feisty, and I just love it. But you can still see that same Sandy in her as she was before, just a bit more feisty and a bit more like, she's going, okay, look, I've got, if I want to, sorry, it's words. They are 16 years of age, like 16, 17, 18, around that age. So they're obviously young, so at that point you have a room to grow, and that's what she is. She's growing. She's realised she can't sit back and be the girl she is. She wants something. She wants to get something she wants, and she's sick and tired of not having that. She's got to go after it. That was the difference. In the movie for me, it was always Sandy was just changing because she thought that's what Danny wanted. That's what I always thought. And this is why the musicals changed it for me. So, Danny, Sandy, Kaneki and Rizzo are my 4 favourite characters. But I'll tell you something, Vince Fontaine makes the show. I think he's funny, he's great, and I loved it. And I've seen Peter Andre play it once, and then I've seen, I don't know his name, so I'll have to find it on here. Darren Bennett, that's his name. I've seen him play Vince Fontaine 3 times, and he was amazing. And they both play it so differently, which I absolutely love. But Vince Fontaine is not someone I really paid attention to in the movie. I didn't know if he was in the movie. No idea. But I absolutely loved it. I think it was great. And another character that stood out for me because is Johnny Casino. You don't see him much. He literally starts the second half with like shaking like Halloween hearts or something like that. You know when I don't know song names, I'm like, I have to find out this. Shaking at the High School Hop. He was fantastic in that, and he just stood out. That character, that one moment, loved it. So. Standout performances. I feel like I kind of covered it, but Johnny Casino at Shaking at the High School Hop definitely was a standout performance. I will say How Big I'm Gonna Be by Danny is another standout performance. I just think it's a song that was needed in that musical, and I didn't realise it was a needed song until I heard it, and I'm like, oh my god, this song. It's kind of that fight where you see Danny going, okay, look, if this girl's going to tell me I'm not making her a part and I'm keeping all these talents hidden, I'm going to try and show you that I can do it. And I loved it. Thought it was amazing. Another stand-up performance was Grease Lightning, like, already said it. And Born to Hand Jive was fantastic. Absolutely loved Born to Hand Jive. So I think that's another stand-up performance. And then my biggest stand-up performance was There Are Things That I Can Do by Rizzo. Jocasta McGill, I think is her name. I'm pretty sure that's her name. I don't know why I said it. I just don't. Yeah, Jocasta McGill. I think that's how you say her name. Again, I can't say words or say names apparently, but she was phenomenal as that in that song. I was just blown away. Every night, every time I've seen it, the 4 times I've seen it, blown away. It's so fantastic. She hits it out of the park every time. And it made me fall in love with that song more and fall in love with Rizzo a lot more. Because it's the one time you see the change in Rizzo, and I loved it. Stand-up performers, Jocasta was one of them by far, a stand-up performer. Paul French, who played Kaneki, just felt like he has that role. Like that role was, I feel like it was destined for him. Dan Partridge, who played Danny Zuko, amazing. Again, Olivia Moore played Sandy, amazing. But I'll tell you 2 people who I was shocked about because I kind of didn't pay attention to these characters in the movie was Jan and Roger. And Noah, who plays Roger, and Mary, who plays Jan. Their little scene when it's mooning, it was amazing. It just made me smile. It made me laugh. Like, this whole musical was meant to make you smile, laugh, and like feels. But this musical just made my heart melt, and I honestly, couldn't fault it. Their performance in mooning, that whole scene was just amazing. I absolutely loved it. It was just so cute. And I think the thing is it was a very cute moment, and it just made me smile because I feel like it was nice to see they have that little moment together. And then I'd have to say, obviously I've already said it, but I'm gonna say it again. Ronan Barnes, who plays Johnny Casino, by far stand-up performer because he just plays that role and takes it. And also Katie Lee, who plays Cha-Cha, when they're doing the Born to Hand Jive scene, and Danny and Cha-Cha are doing a dance, it's just, I can't take my eyes off her. She's just so good, and she's got the stage. I mean, I know she's meant to be that's the character, but it's just so good. I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I just amazing. But to be fair, every performer in this show did an amazing job, and I can't single-handedly say just all of them. But yeah, anything I would change, things that could have been done better. Like I said earlier, I'd have changed how much Sandy was in, because I feel like she was singing Hopelessly Devoted to You, but you kind of, Hopelessly Devoted to You, you had that, the end of the first half before We Go Together, you had her going, basically dropping the necklace on the floor. She comes in the middle of the dance and at the end of the dance she starts singing Hopelessly Devoted to You, which her voice is fantastic in this. And then you don't see anything, and then suddenly she's in the car with Danny, like suddenly she's kind of forgiven him and wants to be around him. And I know it's a cheesy shit show, and that is my one big thing. I'm like, but how did she just suddenly forgive him and go in that car, and then she didn't forgive him, and then it was a bit of a chaotic moment. But at the same point, it didn't really impact the story for me. Like, the way I liked about Grease in this one is it wasn't just the Danny and Sandy's love story. Like, obviously that was the main part of it, but it also incorporated that actually it's all about all these high school kids' story, not just them. Like, at the end, it's just going away from the thing. Like, you get Patty and Eugene get a Pink Lady's jacket. Like, it's about incorporating these people who you class at the beginning of the show was classed as outsiders, and are now part of, they, you know, people have like grown. By the end, they start off as like youngsters, I guess, at the beginning of the show, and the show as people more mature. Anyway, but like, so it didn't really impact the story for me. But again, I think Sandy could have been in it a bit more. I can't think how. I mean, I know that a lot of people are going to criticise it because it's not the same as the movie and they have changed it. But I think that's why I like it so much, which is why I can't criticise too much about it, because I can't think of a criticism about it apart from, yeah, like, I think, like, if I went really with the idea to criticise, I probably could think about more things, but I don't have anything I can criticise about it. I think they've done a really good job with this show and staging this show to fit with the modern day people. Like, the thing, I mean, people who complain about it are people who watched the movie when they were growing up, who are probably my age or older, and then you've got the youngsters these days who know of the movie, but they didn't, it wasn't what they grew up with, you know. So like, it's kind of like trying to get, you've got in the musical world, you've got to get more youngsters interested in it and involved in it. And I think this was done a good job of getting younger people, like people younger than me, into watching like Grease on stage. Like, it's great. I absolutely loved it. So I can't criticise too much about it, but I do think they should have Sandy in it a lot more, I think. And I think there was times that we could have got to know some of these other characters a bit more, like Johnny Casino. I mean, he was meant to be just a singer, so I kind of get why not. But I would have loved to see him a bit more just because he was amazing. And maybe a few of the other characters, like Cha-Cha, would have been nice to see her again. But obviously these people who have got those parts in the show, like for a small part in the second half, they're also part of the ensemble, so you still see them on stage, they're just not the characters. I'm going to just go back to stand-up performers because I have seen Understudy Sandy, Ellie Kingdon, and on my second time going to watch it, and she was phenomenal, she was amazing, and I know they pick an understudy who is going to be able to play the part. They wouldn't, she's someone who couldn't, but she was just amazing in it, and I honestly loved her. I would have loved to see her play it again, but unless the time I go after the musical con, if I get the chance to go, she plays it, I won't see her again play. But she was amazing. Okay, would I recommend or go again? Well, I think I can clearly tell you yes. I would recommend to anyone to go and watch it, just for a bit of a fun night out. If you're not looking to, if you're not looking to get too deep in the idea that it's changed the movie, you'll love it. If you're looking for a good night out and for a bit of fun, considering compared to a lot of the shows that I'm going to talk about after in the next few videos, this one is probably one of the most happiest ones I've got, apart from Mamma Mia. Most of the other ones have some kind of darkness to it, or sadness to it, or some kind of thing like that. And it's a bit more like violent, I guess. I don't really know what else to say. I would say if you're looking for just a good fun night out to have a bit of a laugh, dance, or watch people dance and get excited and enjoy a mega mix at the end, then this is a show for you to go watch. It does end the 29th of October though, so hopefully this video will be up before then. It does end before the 29th of October, so you've got to get your tickets in before that, because otherwise you won't get to watch it. But yeah, I definitely recommend. And I would definitely go again. I've seen it 4 times and I would definitely go for a 5th if I can. And finally, my ranking. Now, I think people are going to think I'm going to give it 5 stars. I'm not. I think I've got other musicals that are going to be a 5-star ranking for me. But this is a top contender. But again, like I did say at the beginning, I'm not good at criticising musicals and shows because I just love them. So it is going to be really hard for me. It's the same when I started reading books. It took a lot for me to give it like a lower rating. But I will give this, as much as I loved it, a 3.75 star. I think, even though I couldn't criticise it, because I couldn't, I still think there's other musicals that I've seen have been better. But you might understand when you see a few of the other ones. I have a thing about liking things when people die. It sounds really sad and really dark, but I like watching those kind of musicals, which is probably why this didn't get to the 4, even a 4.5. It is close to a 4. I'll raise it to a 4 just because it did make me happy. I loved it, so I'll give it a 4 star. But yeah, I can't say I can't give it a 4 star when I've seen it 4 times. So I'll give it a 4 stars. But yeah, anyway, this is the end of this theatre review. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Please comment down below. Please subscribe, and I will see you again very soon with another video.